Then I heard that she wanted to hook up with me from her own words.
In regards to Taylor, I felt like I was cornered.
No, she did. Are you kidding? No, Daniel, are you kidding?
There was a lot of talk about her and her behavior towards other house guests.
She had the intention behind Taylor's words and falsely projected a passive-aggressive label onto her.
One's accepting and feeling. She called Jasmine fat.
And saying a mental break, even though you aren't a licensed mental health specialist.
Oh yeah, I mean, at one point I wanted to hook up with her. So I'm like, oh, this.
What's up, everybody? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. And today we'll be talking about the next two evicted house guests exit interviews, Nicole and Daniel. These two have stirred up so much drama, so much chaos within the Big Brother house, and they finally get their eviction party that everybody was waiting for. I would like to shout out the Secret Alliance podcast, Us Weekly, The Winner Circle, and Kathryn Dunn YouTube channel. To see each video in its entirety, drop down to the description box where the link to each video and channel will be provided. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, want it, securing.
First, we'll be starting with Nicole. As a heads up, this is not the full video in its entirety. This is a splice video where my format is I will pop in and out, giving my commentary on what I hear and how I feel about basically what they're saying within the video. And if you would like to watch the full interviews, click down in the description box to watch the full videos in its entirety.
And they feel like you have bullied Taylor in this house. And this is your chance to talk to the fans. How do you respond to that criticism?
I think going in as far as my hand in anything that has to do with Taylor is that I thought strategically that I would be able to manipulate and control her game, and that would be a shield for me moving forward and advance my game, because I allowed the judgment of the people in my alliance to cloud my own.
So this will be a running theme throughout this video, that both Nicole and Daniel would not take accountability or full accountability for what they've done, and they would deflect the questions with weird answers. Like this question, he asked, how are you a bully? And she brought up strategy and brought up the whole situation with the alliance that has nothing to do with the question.
Moment in your blow up with her, for lack of a better word, did take me aback. Do you feel like you misunderstood the intention behind Taylor's words and falsely projected a passive aggressive label onto her? And if so, why, instead of circling back with your festy bestie to have a productive conversation with her, did you immediately jump to conclusions and react explosively?
I definitely think I reacted explosively. Again, I want to be able to go back and view the entire incident that happened, but I overreacted. I labeled her as passive aggressive because I did feel that way in that moment. And I felt in that time that I was able to express that to her. But I also feel like there needs to be more discussion about it.
While Nicole and Daniel are doing their interviews, watch their eyes. Why does it feel like they're reading off something like this prompt? Because to be honest, both Daniel and Nicole's responses sound similar, whereas like I would have to go back and look at the footage and then do some notes and then sit down and talk to Taylor.
You and Daniel spoke badly of Taylor. You talked about her to other house guests. We saw behavior that was aggressive. You isolated her. There was always the seeming hostility with Taylor. And so fans say that was not game. Nicole, that was personal. And that's how they're addressing this. So do you agree? Are they wrong? Is this not bullying?
I think that it is a form of bullying, and I'm sorry for it. I take full ownership of it. And I am wanting to make sure that I'm able to look and see everything and play it all back and see exactly where I went wrong. And, you know, leaving the house, I was able to apologize to Taylor for the things that I know that I remember. And I want to be able to fully apologize to her when she gets out, and would love to sit down with her and go through everything.
Y'all let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think about Nicole's comments so far? Do you believe her?
On the live feeds, we heard you make some pretty personal and frankly demoralizing comments about Taylor's character, such as how it bothered you that she was flaunting her private parts around the house. You also said that Taylor is not a good person and that she is a bully. So can you help me understand, as an audience member, or at least provide an instance that would exemplify her bullying behavior? Because I didn't see that on feeds.
Sure. I definitely would like to say that I am sorry that I said those words about her being a bully, because those were not anything, that was not anything that she had done to me personally. I was using that as people were telling me what she was doing to them. And that's not fair to her for me to make judgment on stuff that didn't happen to me and I did not witness. Week one, I really enjoyed getting to know her. And I felt like there was a point in the beginning of the game that I was trying to work with her.
See, this gives me like class A deflection because that didn't even answer Hannah's question.
And what was the second one, Hannah? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just wondering if you could provide a specific example as to how she was a bully to you and Daniel, because you guys were kind of talking about how she isn't a good person and she deserves to go home. So I just wanted more insight from you, because I didn't see that behavior exhibited towards anyone in the house, let alone towards you and Daniel. In fact, I felt like she was very understanding with you when you were crying in the back bedroom, and that sort of like the situation just escalated and kind of blew up way out of proportion. But yeah, I just wanted an example from you.
Yeah, I agree with you 110%. And I take full ownership of that no, she did not bully me in any way, shape, or form. And I was definitely allowing other people's complaints and judgments cloud mine. And then as far as my comment with the private part, it was more of flaunting cockiness, not actually flaunting her private parts around as such. And I just made a bad call and made a bad statement about her.
All right, y'all. So you heard it from the horse's mouth. Taylor did absolutely nothing to warrant the treatment that she received in that house. And basically, Nicole is saying this very aware. She's saying this very like stern the way she said it. And my question is, why do you need to go back and look at the footage? That's something that she said earlier to one of the questions, that, well, you don't have to go back and look at it just so I can be aware. So you're aware that Taylor didn't bully anyone, but you're not aware of your actions and things that you've said. It's kind of conflicting a little bit.
About, for example, the whole Daniel yelling at her in the bathroom situation, because like she had said to you, I think she was like, okay, Nicole's upset about her mother, like if you don't want to compete, like I totally get that. And I think you took it a different way, went to Daniel, then he kind of went off on her. Did you have any remorse in that moment? Like, oh, maybe like I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I took it the wrong way. Like, why did no one kind of step in and be like, hey, like this is getting out of control here,
Well, when everything happened and we were in the bathroom, he immediately wanted to say something to her. And I said to him, I'm like, no, I'm like, absolutely not. Leave it alone. I'm like, it's fine. Like I was trying to, now in a moment where I'm the one going through my own thing, I'm trying to calm somebody else down and I'm trying to tell him, leave it alone.
So I'm calling bullshit. I'm sorry. Nicole, you did not tell him to leave it alone. You went when he was with Amira and whoever else was in the bathroom, and you said it in a way that was malicious, petty, to get a reaction out of Daniel. And when Daniel gave you the reaction, you didn't say a word. You let him run with it. And then when it went to the bathroom, you made that petty ass comment about, oh, you're going to work out and eat chips before you work out, girl, fuck you. And then you want to sit up here and then try to throw him under the bus. Yes, Daniel's an asshole. And yes, Daniel's going to get it too. But don't sit up here and make it seem like you were just some perfect angel. Like, stop.
In terms of Paloma and how he felt that she was mistreated, and then he felt that he needed to protect me. I never asked him to fight that battle for me. And so when he started speaking and when he started talking at her,
Okay, Nicole, if you tried so hard to stop Daniel from going off on Taylor, then why did you sit there quiet the whole time? Girl, bye.
Conversation ended up moving to the living room. And I did walk out there at one point and saw that he was sitting down, she was standing up, and there were people around them. I walked away because for me, I said, I just didn't know what to do in that moment. And I felt like with the people that they were surrounded by at that time, I felt like that they were just going to have an argument. I didn't think that it was going to escalate to anything further than that.
So you mean to tell me, as a police officer, that she used to be a police officer for X amount of years, right? That when there was a disagreement or a whatever banter going back and forth, she said she didn't know what to do. So as a trained police officer that she was, she didn't know how to defuse the situation? Question mark? Okay.
Realm with you guys as Big Brother alumni.
Nicole, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not happy. I picked you to win the game. So
not on my watch.
I don't know how much you guys know, but I will say that I was called to DR, diary room 2 upstairs. And as soon as I touched the door and hit the button, I was called down to diary room 1. And walking down those stairs, my mom has cancer. And so for me, I thought, I remember watching season 16 and specifically seeing Derek and Frankie walk into the DR and there's an envelope sitting on that chair.
So I recognize that Nicole is a person with actual feelings, right? And I can give someone grace when they're going through a situation or hard times. And I pray that her family, her mother, finds speedy healing and love and abundance and peace. And I just wish her nothing but the best pertaining to her mom. And that's really all I can give her, because I wouldn't know how to handle that situation. Now, I know I'll be an emotional wreck. I am an emotional person, so I get it, but it's just out of respect. But that doesn't negate the fact that she did what she did. She said what she said, and she still needs to be held accountable. And you can't use certain things like that to prevent or soften the blow or get people to not go as hard as on you as they would.
they have done a bad job of hiding their final 2, because I heard your names get thrown around a lot. Now, do you think your relationship with him affected your game? Because he was very aggressive. And even this week, you said he's being very aggressive. I don't think it's helping me. He was aggressive in the situation with Taylor. He was really pushy. And ultimately, he was the reason why you were on the block. And so do you think your relationship with him hurt your game or it helped your game?
I think both. It's like a 50-50. I think in the end, it hurt it. I think that in the beginning of the game, it helped because I was safe. I never hit the block in the beginning. Obviously, the beginning, I say that it was only 4 weeks, but.
So Nicole's biggest error was making Taylor her main objective and not winning $750,000. That came like third because her final 2 with Daniel was such a priority that they moved together, they thought together, they strategized together, and she never, like, you have to realize you're playing for yourself. There's only one winner, and she played for Daniel, and ultimately you lost the money. You got evicted because of Daniel. The person you trusted the most, you couldn't even tell him, like, hey, don't use a veto. I don't feel safe. He convinced you to feel safe enough to sit your ass on the block and then got yourself evicted. Next up, here's Daniel.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Obviously, Julie revealed the leftovers. I know you had started putting the pieces together over the past week, but what was your reaction when she said that they were formed because people thought Taylor was being mistreated? And then obviously you had a very public outburst with her.
Yeah, I respect it. I even told Julie that I kind of honor that they came together over a negative situation. I think that's great, and it makes sense.
But what doesn't make sense is your response. But you honor that because they came together over a negative situation, but the negative situation was you and your outburst towards Taylor. Everyone in the house saw how you treated Taylor, and it was unjust. Even Amira said that it was unjust, and she was there, and she confirmed it when she did her interview with Cody.
You told Julie that you didn't like Taylor because of a lie that Paloma said. What if I told you, and maybe you already know this, that never happened, and Paloma actually said that you were problematic, that you were a poor sport, and that she wanted you out?
Yeah, most of this is news to me.
Y'all, I am screaming. Because it's the fact that you didn't know this girl. You didn't know this girl from a hole in the wall, the ants to the ground, the clouds in the sky. But you went to bat. You picked up the sword and the shield for Paloma, and Paloma quickly stabbed you in the back. Easily. And now you over here sitting here gagged. Just can't say nothing. Cat got your tongue?
He regrets about that bathroom blow up because it was definitely misconstrued. Taylor was actually like praying for Nicole's mom and like basically was like, if you don't want to compete, I get it because you're going through a lot. And she kind of made it to seem like she was telling her to quit. And then obviously you took that and ran with it. So any regrets about that?
Oh, absolutely. The regret would be, I wish I would have approached it as a house meeting vibe or just publicly speaking to both Nicole and Taylor in the same moment. But my emotions ran through the roof because I felt, or I was triggered in the sense of this happened with Paloma, which now I'm learning is not true or whatever. But then I was like, this is happening again. So
it's happening again because maybe it's like the way you interpret information, or maybe it's the way that Nicole relayed the information. Obviously, Taylor was coming from a place of concern and wanting her to, like, if you didn't want to compete in the competition, that's fine. But the way that Nicole brought it to Daniel was very much like, she wanted me to quit the game. Girl, nobody said they want you to quit the game. The whole situation was just high school, petty and messy.
And Nicole can understand what really happened because maybe she heard it differently as well. And Nicole was my number one, so I trusted anything she said to me.
As a Big Brother super fan that I am, I think this blind loyalty that these people have is kind of crazy. I know the way that I probably would play the game. This is just a hypothetical because I haven't played, obviously. But I would not give blind loyalty to anyone. I'm solo for dolo for myself. I'm here to win this money and nothing else. And yes, friendships and showmances are nice, but that check is nicer.
Some of the things that people are upset about is when you said that, you know, when you first saw Taylor, you knew she was bad news. She would explode if you put her on the block. People kind of saw that as like microaggressive. And you said that she was stalking you and that she didn't deserve to live normally. I think you and Nicole, well, I know you and Nicole called her like a shitty person. You don't see her as a good person. I know Terrence and you were making fun of her Miss Michigan title. Things like this really upset people. And I'm just curious your reaction and kind of how you see yourself reflecting on those things.
Yeah, those all sound terrible, and I understand why people would be upset. Any little reason I may have for it is not justified or validated, so watching it back is huge for me. Literally taking notes and looking forward to speaking with Taylor is my priority, and if I offended anyone in the outside world, I will approach that as well.
I definitely didn't believe his response. It seemed very much like he didn't have an answer for what he did. And it felt so disingenuous. And it definitely feels like he's reading off of PR cards, like something that someone wrote down from CBS Big Brother for him just to regurgitate back to us.
Daniel, it's nice to meet you. I'm Hannah. So my first question is mental health, its importance, and particularly surrounding the premature exit of one of this season's house guests. In your blow up with Taylor, you effectively blamed her for Paloma experiencing a mental break, even though you aren't a licensed mental health specialist. Do you still stand by this? And even if you don't anymore, why at the time did you feel that it was appropriate to dump the weight of that kind of accusation onto one person?
After speaking with Taylor, once Turner kept her in the house, I considered it a blessing, so I got at least try to smooth things over before anything happens outside that or before we leave the house. But in that moment, Taylor had mentioned that she's the one that told some house guests that she feels that she was the reason why Paloma spiraled. So that was led to me through other house guests, and Taylor admitted to me that she's the one that said it. I don't believe now, knowing the things that I know, I don't believe she had any part of that, especially that if the Paloma thing was a lie, is what I'm hearing. Is unfortunate that I believed these lies, especially first week, not knowing anyone. Putting my loyalty into people and believing it was definitely my downfall and added to all of that for sure.
I feel like on a player scale, Daniel's overall downfall was the fact that he couldn't regulate his emotions and the fact that he took information from other people and took that as word, bond, Bible, and never cross-referenced with anyone else, never verified those information, and he took on other people's battles against Taylor. And that was the only adversary that he had in the house was Taylor. And Taylor was every person's undoing.
At multiple points, and this is a loaded question, so let me know if you want me to repeat anything. At multiple points throughout the season, we saw your disdain for Taylor unfold. One night sitting in the HOH room, you claimed that Taylor did not deserve to live normal. You also said that you don't care if America thinks you're at fault here because any house guest will express how pardon my language, of a person Taylor is. Finally, you and Nicole somehow arrived at the conclusion that Taylor was the real bully in the house. With that being said, can you enlighten me with a specific example of how Taylor bullied you and others in the house? Because what I saw as a feeder, an avid live feeder this season, was a woman who never raised her voice, never acted impulsively or maliciously, and tried her best to be empathetic even when she was actively being bullied, ostracized, and microaggressively labeled. So this is your opportunity to give us some insight into what you were thinking and allow you to explain to those like myself who may be confused about some of your comments by giving us a specific example of how Taylor bullied you.
Well, look how she ate that.
Yeah, initially I wanted to align with her the first few days until the Paloma lie came out. After that, the energy, even prior when I wanted to align with her energy in the house was very negative to a lot of people. And I at least was fed that. And so maybe that's what made me start to feel that, when people tell you it, you start believing it. As far as like not living normally, I would never, I'm referring to the Big Brother house that does not justify or validate that, but I'm not talking about the real world or real life, but even in the house, I was talking as far as feeling the safety of staying in the house and not going home. Again, I can't wait. I look forward to watching all these back and correcting all of this and learning from it and talking to her specifically. The person, I think a lot of house guests did not, she really is what I've been told from the house guests. They rubbed her the wrong way, or she rubbed them the wrong way, except for Nicole was the only one vouching for her in the first week or two.
Yo, I'm sorry. I had to interject because Hannah asked, Daniel, can you name an example of how Taylor ever bullied you? All the other information that he's providing is irrelevant.
And this is what I'm being told this whole time. And when you don't know these people, unfortunately, I believed it, and that sucks. And that's my downfall. And I think leaving the house, reviewing it is my biggest priority. And my number one will be speaking to Taylor and then approaching the outside world to express my apologies to anyone affected by it. I know you had a few more points. If you want to say them again, I'll touch base on them.
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much hit all of my points.
Okay.
Again, hearsay. You can't believe everything that you hear, especially when there's no valid basis to judge someone's character. At the end of the day, you only knew her for less than 35 days. So I personally don't feel like that's enough time to make a judgment as to whether someone's a good person or not, even if it's just in the context of the game
level. And we were in the tiki room, and Taylor told me she purposely came in with a character of being a bad person or some version of that. That's not the verbatim. But what she said was she's a good person in the real world, and she came in here as the opposite.
I feel like he's trying to use that as some type of justifier in his behavior. Like, well, she said she's going to be the opposite. I would say the same thing, and I'm not even going to hold you. Like, I could tell everybody I'm pretty chill and a normal person outside of the Big Brother house. But if I was in the Big Brother house, I'm doing whatever it takes to win that $750,000. Lie, cheat, and steal. Sorry. But I'm not going to berate, bully, beat down, patronize, because there's a difference between personal and strategy.
You didn't just play the game and say, I'm going to target her as a player. It always kept getting personal, and you would ostracize her. You're saying, I'm going to lock the HOH room and keep her out. Those things really, did not look like just somebody, playing the game and going to target somebody. It got very personal, and you made a lot of targeted attacks. And how do you respond to that? And to the fans who go, we didn't like this behavior.
Yeah, the line of personal and game was definitely blurred for me. Unfortunately, I thought I could remove that. But what I did, unfortunately, in my head, justify the personal became game to me because these were people I was aligned with who were affected by it.
So Daniel basically brings up the fact that he's a very loyal person outside of the house, and it's hard to get rid of that I guess, character trait within the house, and he basically was so loyal to Nicole and then Paloma. But like I said before, how can you be loyal to someone that you only know for 6 days, even if you were in the house with them for all this time? It just doesn't make sense. Regardless of the fact, you have to hold yourself accountable. Like he's saying in there, he's gonna do this and that. I'm gonna look at it. I want to talk to Taylor, but you want to talk to Taylor. What makes you think she wants to talk to you? I do feel like Taylor will grant an audience with them, just because I feel like that's just her character to bury the hatchet and like move on. But it's just one of the situations where if someone's holding a grudge and you do something to them, you did something to them. Now, you can't just say, well, I'm going to just talk to them and just try to figure this out. What if they don't want to do that? Then what?
You also said that you accused Taylor of stalking you, which is like kind of that's a crazy thing to say in a house that doesn't have a backyard except for like 3 days a week and like no windows. Like, I feel like everybody's kind of stalking each other, you know?
Absolutely.
There's nowhere to go.
Well, what happened initially, I saw on the HOH monitor that Taylor was like running around the house, and Paloma's like, she's looking for me. She's been stalking me throughout this house, following me everywhere. And then when Paloma left, Taylor started following me into every room, literally every couch, every chair I was on. She was right next to me. Every time I got up and left, she would follow me. And I thought it was a tactic to try to
Do you think that maybe you were being a little paranoid?
I mean, that's also another layer, you know, like, and I was like, maybe it's just me, but either way, I'm going to remove myself from these situations because I don't want it to get to me if it's a tactic or if I'm overthinking it. Then I heard that she had a crush on me. I don't know if that's true. Then I heard that she wanted to hook up with me from her own words. So then I was like, oh, now it's starting to make sense.
The BB hey, take it from me. The BB goggles are kind of wild, so you never know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at one point, I wanted to hook up with her. So I'm like, this all makes, yeah.
So I definitely feel like in the Big Brother house, they were so super paranoid about everything that Taylor did. But I did see on Twitter that somebody said that Taylor did want to hook up with Daniel. I don't know if this is true or not, but
The edit, I don't know. It seems what I'm hearing is that she's getting the hero edit. I'm getting the villain. But there's a lot that goes down in the house, as you know, and you experience energies just sitting in a room with someone, and the catty comments, petty comments, stuff like that, that everyone's accepting and feeling. She called Jasmine fat.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that?
No, she did. Are you kidding? No, Daniel, are you kidding? Daniel, she did not call Jasmine fat. Jasmine called herself fat because she asked what size Taylor was. Taylor said she was 0 or 2, and Jasmine ran with that. And she took that as, and as
you know, this is what I'm hearing from someone I loyally trust.
Daniel and Nicole are rightfully getting dragged right now by like social media and everybody. I feel like a lot of people want them just to take accountability. Like, what is the core reason? I don't care that other people said this. I don't care that somebody did that or came to you, said this and that and the third. It doesn't matter if Jasmine said something else. You're a grown-ass adult that can use deductive reasoning and figure out if you have a problem with someone. Go talk to them instead of making up a hypothetical situation about someone that you do not even know. You've known them for almost 6 days, and they made this hypothesis literally after 2 days, to be honest, about Taylor. And you didn't have all the facts, and you ran with that, and you didn't care that she was going through this. You didn't care that all this stuff was going on with Taylor and all these other people. You didn't give a shit.
So Paloma was in the house for 6 days. And I know that things move faster in the game, but that's just like not a lot of time, especially compared to your fellow house guests and the time that you spent with them. But a lot of your gameplay that it always resorts back to Paloma. You know, it's all you like. I feel like you've kind of shifted the blame on Paloma for a lot of things. Are you using her as a shield?
And
to kind of like protect, I guess, or justify the things that you said about Taylor, or to kind of protect yourself from the things that you said?
Not as a shield. I'm a very loyal and emotional person outside the house. I didn't know that would follow me into the house. Obviously, you can't remove that from a human. So when I give my love and loyalty to someone and I connect, I've toured for 10 years and I meet multiple people with different backgrounds and everything. And in moments, I could see if I'm going to connect with this person, which is how I found my final two, Nicole, in 12 hours.
See, I get clicking with someone like right off the bat, especially in an environment like that. like you don't know anyone, you're on TV, everything you say is being recorded, so you try to gravitate to people that have like similar personality traits that you do outside. But it's one of those situations where it's like he uses verbiage like love, loyal, and just these strong verbs for people that I'm just like, especially when dealing pertaining to Paloma, I'm like, we all saw the clip when Paloma left and everybody starts crying. I'm confused because I'm like, I'm watching this show just like how they're in it, and I'm just like, it's not giving all of that. I guess we know the backstory, they don't, but it's just like I don't get the tether that everybody has to Paloma.
Because, okay, I'll be honest. A lot of the interviews that I've done, people deflect and they say that, you know, I bring up the bullying and they're like, oh, like so-and-so bully, but no one ever says who the bully is. And then they say, oh, like Taylor's great. Taylor's this, there's that. It's like, well, that's not what y'all were saying in the house. Because Daniel, you said, if America thinks I'm a fucking asshole, I will apologize and be like, you don't understand. Talk to any house guest and they will express how shitty of a person that girl is. I don't see her as a good person. But now you're sitting here and telling me that you think she's a badass and you think she's going to win the game. And then she's not really, it doesn't match. And I don't know what happened between when you got evicted and now.
Oh, she's taking it.
But we want answers based on how you acted in the game.
Yes. Someone could be a badass and also we can feel that they're not a good person. Absolutely.
Wait a damn minute.
Why don't you think she was a good person?
Because of the way she treated people in the house and just being there in the moment and watching it happen, but also being told whether it's lies or not, I unfortunately believed it. So yeah, that's what I meant by like being a shitty person.
Did you really not know that Michigan was a state?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you thought it was a restaurant.
Oh no, we were joking. Me and Terrence were joking.
Y'all were joking, y'all, because y'all didn't think that Taylor could put a pageant.
I tour for a living, so
yeah.
Yes, I know it's a state, and my friends are from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were joking because you didn't think that she could win. I guess.
Well,
I thought that you didn't think it was a state, but I see you were just making fun of her because you didn't think that she could beat out, you know, a competitive.
Well, Terrence started like the joking of it, so I was like, oh, like it must be a restaurant, and you know, it's just being stupid. It wasn't trying to be like rude or whatever, but. Anyway,
well, there's Michigan is a state. It has a population of 10 million people, and she beat out 51 girls at the pageant. And even more impressive, she went on to Miss USA, where she was voted on by 10 women, or by not 10. She went on to Miss USA, where she was voted on by 50 women to win Miss Congeniality for being the nicest contestant.
Oh my God!
Yeah, surprise, bitch!
You go in as a character in Big Brother. All right. You go in as a character in Big Brother. All right.
Hater.
Right.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's all we have. Conspire with, bitches.
I appreciate it all. Thank you so much.
So what I've learned is Daniel and Nicole had no reason to ostracize, bully, and basically just be horrible people to Taylor. There was really no reason, and the fact that they got evicted was because of their obsession over Taylor. If they actually played the game for themselves and quote unquote stopped listening to other people, then they probably could have made it further in the game. But their obsession with Taylor and this whole situation with Paloma got their ass evicted. And now they're sitting out here, have to think about the consequences that they did. And it's just sad because both doubled down, both acted like you know, I would have to sit with her and just talk and think. I'll have to look at the footage first and this, that, and the third. Like, y'all, what do you guys think about all of this? Like, this was literally, on one hand, irritating, and on the other hand, it was so good just to see Hannah, Kate, I want to say Cody, Derek, and others basically dig into them because they deserved it. Everything they did to Taylor, they deserved what they got. I just hope that they learn from the situation. I understand that they have room for growth and nobody's a perfect person, but at the end of the day, people should be held accountable for the things that they do. So at the end of the day, I hope they learn from this, and I can give them grace in the future, but right now, I just hope they learn from their mistakes. All right, everyone, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.